By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
I'm MC Tyler Havlin from Inner Idiot Podcast. Guess what, all you functioning psychopaths? Get in, buckle up, bitches. We're doing mental health shit. I give to you Tim McCarthy in 10 minutes.
Where the party at? Where the party at? I used to do that all the time in my earlier episodes. I said that a lot. I should have made that a t-shirt and not sold it. That would have been great. Anyway, episode 62 of, you guessed it, 10 minutes. I am your host, Tim McCarthy. This is a show that focuses on mental health through humor, insight, and personal stories. That's right. That introduction was done by Tyler of the Inner Idiot Podcast. I can't even say that correctly because I'm an idiot. You can join Tyler, Lord Shorty, and friends as they discuss all the douchebaggery. Douchebaggery? I still can't even speak and spell. They got top fives on this day in history, weird facts, funny product reviews, and an occasional nerd out. You can get them on all the preferred streaming platforms. For the most part, it's like, if any of these podcasts or YouTube shows or whatever, you can't find them easily enough. If they're not on the popular stuff, like what is the not popular streaming platforms? But go check them out. Go say hi to Tyler. I was on his Instagram Live where we had some fun and played some games. He's a really funny cat, really interesting. And he had some really good, like, would you rather questions. And you can find that on his Instagram. And I'll share that as well in the links below. But it is a good watch. And I directed a couple of people to go chat with him. But yeah, thank you, Tyler, for doing that intro, having me on. MC Tyler is a great thing because not many people use the term MC anymore, Master of Ceremonies, if you don't know what that stands for. A lot of like 80s and 90s rappers would always be like MC Search from like Third Base or like MCA. I always wanted like an MC name, and I do have it because my last name is McCarthy, but like I couldn't be like MC Car or MCC or MC Carthy. So I got to work on that. I always thought a good DJ name would be DJ Tickles. Like he's on the wax. It's like not like the button pushing DJs, but like the old school like Grandmaster Flash, like crossfading. Like it'd be like Gucci Gucci Goo, DJ Tickles in the building. It'd be like boop 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 boop. I went to a wedding one time when they got married. They did that air horn after they got married, and I thought it was the fucking best thing in the world. Mr. and Mrs. Baller. Anyway, I like to start off with this every episode. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255, or the crisis text hotline if you need it. Text HOME to 741-741 if you're in the U.S. or Canada or North America. If you have dual citizenship, would you just be considered North American? That'd be kind of cool, right? Hey, I'm North American. What? Or you can go to crisistextline.org to learn more. So I was reading about this too, and I heard about it for a little bit, is 988. Not 911, but 988. They are, on July 16th, I believe it is, they're going to enroll that, so it's easy to remember that number. Obviously, I do not remember that 1-800 number off the top of my head for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-8255. But 988 is going to lead you to that, and you can text that number and receive the same help. And that old 1-800 number is not going away, but I feel like that is long overdue because a lot of people do have to call 911 in case of emergencies, but some people call 911 and they always go, I don't think this is an emergency, or this isn't an emergency, but usually it is. Not going to lie. So I think that's a great thing they're going to be implementing going forward. So if you're not familiar with that, get familiar by the time... hopefully by the end of, I would say next year, hopefully that is like an easier thing that everyone knows. I think at first it's probably going to have its tricks or troubles or whatever tricks. It's going to have a lot of tricks, have a lot of fun. I want to know how it works. I don't want to bother them because they're actually doing really good things and helping people, but I just want to like contact them to see like what actually goes into it. And I've emailed them too because I wanted to like talk to somebody, especially with the crisis text line. I don't want to be, hey, can I talk to you guys real quick? I know you have somebody on hold that really needs help, but I got a lot of questions. How much of an egomaniac would you have to be to call up and just ask questions? And I always wondered that too, because that rapper Logic came out with that song, 1-800-273-8255. And I just like, because there's like nasty people out in the world. Like we can all agree there's just dumb people that ruin things. They think they're funny. They're just there's awful people. So there's got to be people that called that number and played like pranks or pretended they were sad and certain things like that. And that's another thing I want to know, but I can't call and ask. Because one, that's a weird question to ask, but hey, how you guys doing? Does anyone fucked around on this phone number? I need to find somebody that works there. All right, quick update from last week. I called out my sister, okay? And I'm a guy that if I'm wrong, hand up, I'm wrong. I think I was a little bit too drunk on my birthday because my sister did text me a happy birthday and she put like 20 random emojis that made no sense. And I even replied back, and like, I think I replied with like a heartfelt reply. And I called her out at our birthday dinner this past weekend, and she was like, I texted you. I was like, you did? And I went back and looked. I was like, damn, you did. And then my brother was right next to me because he listens all the time. He's like, yeah, he called you out. I was like, damn it. She's like, all right, let me do an intro. I'm like, bitch, I've been asking you to do an intro for a while. So Melissa, I apologize. Thank you. And happy birthday to you as well. We had a good weekend. We went out with the whole family, and I just love making my family laugh because all of us have different, like, ridiculous laughs. Like my mom, my sister, my older brother, and younger brother, they all have just like different degrees of laughter that like are very just distinct, but they're all similar in a way, probably because of DNA and what you pick up with your mother. But yeah, our family rocks. We love laughing. We love dancing. And yeah, I just loved it. I had a good weekend with them. New Year's resolutions. Is everyone keeping up with them? I feel like this is a good time to check in if people are still like keeping up with them. I know the gym is a big one. I'm glad that wasn't my New Year's resolution. Mine's more of saying yes to things, because I'm usually, I had a good year of the no. One year I was like, I'm saying no to everything. Wedding? Nah, I'm good. You want to go to? Nah, I'm good. Hey, Tim? Nah. But now that I'm like, I think I did that year really screwed me because no one really hits me up anymore to do stuff. So I'm like, hey, you guys, what's everyone? You guys want to go see a movie? All right, cool. So that really screwed me. I always say past Tim always screws over future Tim, and present Tim has to deal with that shit. Like even right now, today is Tuesday, and this episode was hopefully released Tuesday. I got home last night and I worked 16 hours, and I was like, you know what? I'll be fine. I'll drink a cup of coffee on my way home. Fell right asleep when I got home. Woke up, felt great, because getting enough sleep is great for your mental health. I don't need to be a professional or qualified medical professional, but I feel like some people get this podcast a little bit twisted. And I just want to make sure that people know that I'm not a professional. I don't even know what the show is, like the formula is. I ask people on Twitter. It's pretty much like me starting off the show with an intro, right? And then I talk about like my life a little bit, but then I get into certain topics or certain things that happen, and I kind of deep dive on them. I'm not like a professional being like, hey, you need to do this and that. That's why I have a PSA, if you make it that far, at the end of my episode that says, if you need real help, go to a professional or call 911. So if you do have a problem with this podcast or what I'm doing, or don't think I'm advocating for mental health, please let me know, and we'll have a civilized conversation about it. But that's all I want to say about that. I wish I had a soundboard where I can do things like that with that Stone Cold thing. I was really worried about all the content I was going to have in today. I feel like I'm talking really fast. Yesterday at work, I had a thing that I've talked about multiple times. Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. It happened to me at work, and I tried not to freak out about it, but I knew it was going on, and it hasn't happened to me in a long time. If you're not familiar with that, I have a previous episode with the same topic name. It's distortions of visual perception of the body image and the experience of time. People may see things smaller than they are, feel their body alter in size, or experience any of the syndrome's numerous other symptoms that are similar to that. So meaning like I was looking at my phone and I felt like my phone was like a million miles away. And in my head, I was like, this is going to be great for the podcast. It doesn't like freak you out, but you're like, this is going to be for a little bit, huh? And it feels like you're in the last row of your own like movie, and like your brain, you're like, ugh. Did anyone else feel that? There was like a rare number of people that have only felt that, but mood swings, still trying to manage them. One thing I realized talking to a friend and coworker the other day was, how come they can name weed all this ridiculous shit like upside down SpongeBob, pineapple kiss, strawberry uppercut, sub-zero fatality weed, but we got to name medications like oxcalifis or just name it like Happy Pills 1.0 or upper echelon 1 or smiley frown 65. I don't need all these things to remember, like, oh, what type of medication you want. I'm like, I don't know. I just know what I need by shaking it. Like, if my pills are in my bag, I just pick it up and shake it. I'm like, oh, that's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I don't need. I just keep shaking it. I was shaking it like people like not watching this can hear it. Like I got like a rattler up against my head. But yeah, that drives me nuts. I want to talk to the committee that names weed and that gets to name diseases and like hurricanes. It's like Hurricane Bob. Like, why can't they be like a hurricane just like fucking Eddie or something? I want to, like, where are those jobs? These are jobs that I'm like, where do you apply to these? I want to be on the naming committee. It's not fair. Upside Down Pineapple Sub-Zero Uppercut is my new rap name. MC Upside Down Pineapple Sub-Zero Uppercut Fatality. But yeah, a lot of people have been reaching out to me, which is great, by the way. So I appreciate everyone reaching out to me about my birthday. And then the people that listened and like felt bad they didn't wish me a happy birthday. That was not my intention whatsoever. But I do appreciate you reaching out. And I had a good friend bring up that like possibly like taking a break from the podcast, which I think about all the time, by the way, spitefully and unspitefully, just for my own sake of mental health. I know that I kind of get worn down. And what I think it is too, it's like, I don't really have a safe space besides my therapy to like talk, because I am in this room. I talk, I do minimal note taking, post and pre-production, and then I just upload it on the internets. So when people text me about episodes, sometimes I don't know what they're referencing whatsoever. So it's pretty good to like let it out. I complain about so much stuff, but when I'm actually doing it, I'm fine. Like, I'm doing this podcast. It took me forever to get going. Like, my motivation's still a factor. I'm not going to get into that, but just a lot of things are going on and I am overwhelmed. But if I stop doing the podcast, I know I wouldn't have much to do right now. And the time killing I do between this isn't even productive as it is. I downloaded this new game on my phone, and I'm let me tell you one thing right now. I have never bought anything on the iPhone, like through the store, like ever. And I bought this game. It's called Retro Bowl. It's a free game. So it's like Tecmo Bowl, and it's like a football game on your phone. And it's just like really well made, and I wanted more credits because I wanted to get like really into it, and I bought it. But I've been playing too much of that. It's a great game though, so I would just be playing that. Like, I brought it up at like a stop sign one time. I just had to see what was going on with my guys. So that's why I'm not taking a break from the podcast. Like I said, I'm not stopping until the wheels fall off. I do apologize if it's a little bit late. That goes to a test of my motivation and what I'm dealing with that. So I do apologize, but interviews should be coming back soon. Again, just me having to sit down and like work on it. I always put pressure on myself. I was that kid that like waited to the last minute to do a project. It'd be like, hey mom, we got to get some popsicle sticks and styrofoam. And remember putting the two bottles together, the 2-liter bottles, and you put water in it, and then you put like tape around the two ones, and you spun it, and it was like a cyclone or a tornado or whatever. And like, we would all do that in school. Then one girl, I don't want to say her name, but one girl in like middle school did it, and she was such like a one-upper. Like, you know, those people in like, they were just super extra. Like, they always got extra credit for being extra. And like, if you've seen the movie Election with Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon, you know what I was talking about. But one time we all did it, and one girl put like mini cows in it, so it looked like there was like a farm like, she went above and beyond, and it was cool. But in my head, even at that young age, I was like, fuck this girl. Like, why are you making anyone else look bad? It must be cool being a parent with a kid like that, because you don't have to worry about him. Like, my mom had to sign a lot of report cards. And then she caught me one time because it's just so funny. She caught me one time because I had like one of those agenda books or whatever. And then like for like weeks, I was just practicing her signature, and like the notes of like the calendar would be like January 16th and like hour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there'd be like a note at the bottom. And then like there was like 2 weeks of just me trying to get her signature. And then she ended up seeing it. You should see my signature now. I sign things like I'm a retired baseball player that's just sick of signing his name. I'm just like, yep, TM. I don't like uppercase T's either, because they look like J's. And when I used to sign cards, I'd be like, who's Jimothy? I'm like, why would you even ask that? But I appreciate everyone checking in and saying nice things. I've had a lot of good tweets and messages about the podcast lately that I really need. I'm not asking for them, but like waking up to certain things and like boosting me and stuff. So I do appreciate it. I do appreciate everyone that listens and all that stuff. But shout out for Tyler at the beginning, Functioning Psychopaths. Those shirts are still on sale. Click the link wherever you see it. Just keep scrolling, you'll find it. Or go to 2010minutes.com and pick up a Functioning Psychopath sweatshirt or t-shirt. They're actually wicked comfortable. I would be wearing it right now, but I have them in the laundry. But great merch by the Phoenix Print Co. Company people. But I was going to go into my ideations lately, but I feel like I always do that. let's just say that everything's kind of the same for me. I'm like happily depressed still. I'm just managing it, but then I realize it is the winter and I need to get through it. I just need to start going for walks. And like, I hate that stuff where it's like, yeah, you should just go for a walk and feel better. It's like, I need to walk to the bank and find a bunch of money on the way. You know what I mean? That's just a quick sip if you heard me swallow. That's how I sound when I swallow. Great question by a listener. I always like to ask people what they would like to be addressed. I'm always weirdly about like people being like, oh, what do you want me to talk about this week on the podcast? Which I try not to do, but I do like to have people that listen or fans. Like, there's a difference between a listener and a fan. I don't know what the difference is, but for the most part, I don't think I have fans, but I have a lot of listeners, so I appreciate you. But I always like to know what you guys think or want to talk about, or if you agree or have a answer to something that I've asked hypothetically. I would love to hear it. I'm easily accessible. Like, get me off the Retro Bowl. Send me a message. Have me talk to you productively. And if I don't reply in like a half an hour, copy and paste it again and just do it again. Because I'm the same way when someone doesn't answer me. And it's not because I don't want to answer you. I could be in a spiral moment, or I'm just busy, or I'm actually sleeping for once. So yeah. So let me get into this, because this episode fucking flew by. So that was great. I feel 10 times better about this. What's a good way to support someone who is going through depression? Great question. I will give my take on it. And some people get depression and sadness kind of messed up a little bit. And I think we all know like what the difference is. It's like you can be sad about like your fucking sports team like losing, you lost a lot of money. I get that. Depression is you keep betting on that sports team and keep losing and lose your family and you just don't change. That's kind of like what depression is for the most part in my take, is just being sad for a long extended period of times. And even when you are quote unquote happy, you are biting your tongue through it. So I asked a couple people what they would say. There's multiple ways. Obviously, all cases are so different. If you don't know, start with professional help. Obviously, that's my go-to answer right off the bat. Not a professional. Don't claim to be one. I had one person say, unless it becomes a concern, I'm the type of person that needs to be left alone or just have the company. So I might have wrote that down wrong. So I don't know if they like being left alone or they just like having company. But again, pick and choose. You can go back and forth. It doesn't matter. Constantly telling people to get up and try to do something when all they need is to rest their brain can be very aggravating. I 100% agree. Sometimes just being there for the person's a lot better than trying to solve their problems. Sometimes like I just want to hear like, oh, that sucks, or like, oh, I'm sorry for you, or something like that. Like, oh, did you try doing this? No, I didn't. And if I did, maybe, but I didn't. So shut up and let me just complain. Another person who was pretty vague. It can be pretty vague. Going to them to find a therapist is big. I would try to find out if it's due to a naturally occurring thing in the brain or if there are outside reasons behind that. Sometimes talking about the things causing the depression can direct where the convo goes. Example, homelessness. Support by talking about how to help to change that. Also reaching out more often in a gentle way to further support. Plus letting them know they're not alone, since it can feel pretty isolating. That one's really good because I'm the same way. When I'm sad or depressed, I don't reach out. Like, who's going to text you? Like, hey, what's going on, man? How's things? Oh, that's great to hear. I'm fucking depressed. You know what I mean? Like, no one's getting that text. And I appreciate the people that try. Trying is very hard. Trying is half the battle. So I do always appreciate that. And I think if you don't know, you got to see the signs. Obviously, is if, so the person asking this, if you're dealing with something like that, being open and direct right away, asking is the best way to do it. Like, are you depressed? Are you to a point? And they might get aggravated. They might lash back out at you, and that's fine. Everybody's different. But if you care about that person and love them, it's good to try to break it down and maybe going more in a gentle way and just going right at them. And again, everyone's different, so I can't speak for anybody else. But the gentle way would be my approach, and be like, hey, I just been noticing some things, and I'm not worried yet. But I do want to be on the same page of like what's going on, because there is a lot of things that you can see, like someone just breaking down or speaking different, or like even like a big thing is with me is like when I don't get sleep, I feel 10 times better today because I got sleep. But yeah, being encouraging in certain ways, maybe doing research for them. Because a lot of the times, like when I was looking for a therapist, it was long and hard. That sucked. And I don't regret looking myself. But if someone helped me, which my nurse practitioner did help me, I don't know I would be where I was today. So shout out to my nurse practitioner, Nancy. You're a saint. And then just understanding like numbers, not numbers, like understanding like, what am I trying to say here? Like, if you know that someone has bipolar, like researching about bipolar would be very beneficial, and trying to like look for warning signs of when to go into action, or whether to like call 911, call a friend, call their doctor. Talking about suicide, which I don't like joking about, but I always still do it because of my ideations, where I don't like, oh, I'm going to kill myself, but I'm like, I always say this, I'm like, oh, hopefully my just car explodes on the way home, or like a tractor, like I get like a Final Destination 19 thing where like there's a car full of like monkeys and they jump off and they just rip me to shreds. And I don't know why I just thought of that. Withdrawing from social contact, feeling trapped, hopeless, increasing use of alcohol, but just encouraging them, positive reinforcement, reading them. Body language is a huge one for me. If they don't look interested, try to bring something up, try to like watch a funny movie with them, try to bring up something that is nostalgic to them that they love, or contacting another friend that they haven't heard in a while, like, hey, can you reach out to so-and-so? And someone did that for me recently. When they don't know how to talk to you, maybe somebody else from a different perspective can help. So that's always a good little trick you can do. Be like, hey, it's not working for me, but I'm going to tag you in and see what you can do. And again, man, it just like, no one wants to see anyone fail. And it's good to have a game plan together. It's good to have a support system. Trust people that you trust. Talk to people that you trust is what I mean. And just be patient. It's, again, I always say it's not easy for the other side of the depressed side. I know Lindsay had a really tough time and still has a tough time dealing with me, especially with everything that's going on if you're caught up with this podcast. But yeah, so a good way to support someone going through depression is just listen. Easy, just listen, learn, give them space if need be, keep tabs on them every so often, give them hugs. I'm a big hug guy. If I see you, I'm giving you a hug. Like I always say, that's why I always tell people I love you when I hang up the phone. I don't care who it is. I'm like, oh man, I love you. Because you don't know the last time you'll ever like talk to that person. And I saw like a TikTok or an Instagram thing that was like, if I ever lose my battle with depression, just let you know that like I tried. And it was like really sad, but some people like made the post kind of like awkwardly weird. And it was like, I don't know, it just felt like a weird thing to, I don't know, man, those like reels and stuff, they would probably help me to like gain followers, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I used to do TikToks here and there, and some of them picked up, but I couldn't deal with the comments back because I always clap back at people because I always have something to say. I can't be the one that just sits there and takes it. I don't know. That's why I try not to internet that much anymore. But a big thing, I'm going to close with this because I know this is getting kind of long. There's a term I learned about because with the bipolar and stuff is like I do lose interest in things I love, and I feel like I was losing interest with the podcast, and I kind of still am. Hence the whole like my friend reaching out and asking like I should probably take a break. But and I also wrote down the way it's pronounced so I don't mess this up. It's called Anhedonia. Anhedonia. Nailed it. It's a word that describes a reduced interest in activities an individual used to enjoy, as well as a decreased ability to feel pleasure. It's a core symptom of major depressive disorder, but it can also be a symptom of other mental health disorders. That's me. I think a lot of us have experienced that, and in one way or another, mine happens a lot. I get hyperfixated on something that I really love. I get into it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this, that, and then I don't do it. But yeah, social withdrawal, diminished pleasure derived from daily activities, a lack of relationships or withdrawal from previous relationships, less of an interest in a previous hobby, and like a loss of libido, a lack in interest in physical intimacy is like different factors that go into that. But anhedonia, real thing, new word I learned today and what it means. And I'm going to go back, I'm going to come around on that on next week's episode, how to battle that, because boy, I would love to know, because I don't know. I need to get back in the swing of things. And we'll work on how to get back on the, how to find out. Again, not a professional here. Don't claim to be one. I'm just a guy showing my mental health side, trying to make you laugh, break the stigma, crack a smile. I used to say breaking the stigma by cracking a smile, but I just kind of like break the stigma, crack a smile. Boom, right in your face. That's me, Tim McCarthy, host of the podcast 20 Minutes. Music suggestion. If you know me, I love music. obviously. I don't even know if people even look into these songs. I don't know what they do. I keep saying I'm going to put a huge playlist together, but I'm not because I don't know if anyone even listens to it or care. But I love me some ignorant rap all the time. And Bobby Shmurda, Shmoney's, is like, I can't stop listening to and I just keep, Shmoney's. I love it. I don't really like new rap or new rappers, but Bobby Shmurda, from what I know, he went to jail for like not snitching on something, and he came back just appreciating life and like telling other rappers and like not tote guns in music videos anymore, which I think is really cool. One of the best rap lyrics I heard was from this rapper Slane. He says, "The only time you've held nines was in a game of cards." And I was like, that's fucking awesome. A lot of fake people with their guns. You got guns but no ammunition. New movie suggestion. This was the last movie I went to in theaters with my buddy Duff, and I texted Duff recently, and I was like, hey, bring me to see Jackass 4, because I don't go to the movie theater as much, because I almost got in a fight with a fake biker going to see the Joker, and I can talk about that another time. But Ghostbusters Afterlife, really good. I like what they did with it. I like how they brought the old cast in, and the little secret surprise they did at the end. I'll tell you what, though. If there was an actress draft, which my friends have done, McKenna Grace, who is the lead girl in that movie, I would buy stock in her right now. I think she is going to be what everyone thought Eleven from Stranger Things was going to be. She was in the Fuller House remake, the Fuller House Netflix series that I watched. She's just like, she's got it. I don't know what it is, but she's got it. McKenna Grace, she's like, I think she's like 15. She actually just came out with a song recently that's about like, it's called like Do My Friends Hate Me? So like, I think she's really relatable for like younger generation talking about depression, because I was reading a little bit about her because she was going through a rough time during COVID. And I feel like a lot of people look down on the kids when it comes to depression, being like, oh, you're just a kid, like grow up. Like, I feel like everyone hears that, but I like what she's doing. And yeah, buy stock. She would be like, if we're doing a dynasty league for actors and actresses, I'll try to snag her in like the 5th or 6th round. But like 4 or 5 years from now, she's going to be like a top 2 pick, guaranteed. All right, guys. I had a lot of fun with this episode, actually. It went really long. I'm going to cut it down before it's not over half an hour, because that would suck. I love you guys so much. Thanks you for tuning in. 10 minutes for more information. You know what it is. I love you, and have a good one. And we're clear. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. If you are feeling suicidal, please dial 911.